Hey guys, so it's Megan here. Margot's going to be hopping on momentarily. Last time we did this little coffee chat with Megan and Margot, I didn't know that if I held the camera horizontally, that we would equally be able to split the screen. So, which means that I have to awkwardly figure out where to look, because sometimes when I hold it this way I want to look over here, but it's over here. But momentarily Margot should be jumping on with us. We are so excited that you are joining us again. I'm gonna grab my water. I wonder if that's her now. Let's see. I mean, technology is so awesome, but sometimes it takes a second to figure out the kinks. Perfect.
Hi.
Yay! Look, we even got the split screen
Well,
going
it
on.
told me the only way I could join you was if I turned my screen, but now I literally have no idea where to look. So this is so weird, but okay.
I know. I just, that's literally what I got done saying, is that I found out we could have split screen if the camera was horizontal, but now my vision is totally messed up.
Okay.
Well, we will go ahead and I know that we have a handful that are able to get on live and some that are going to be catching the replay of this. But first of all, we are super excited regardless what you're doing. If you're on live with us, if you are going to catch the replay, we really want to take an opportunity each week to come in here and just share a little bit with you guys about our stories, our experiences, and answer any questions that we can, help in any way that we possibly can in terms of getting you started on your own health and wellness journey. But I think a lot of that comes just from sharing our stories. As human beings, we are hardwired for connection. And I know that for me, that it's something that motivates me, it inspires me, it encourages me. And we were talking earlier this week about, what we have gotten out of coaching, what we have gotten out of these accountability groups and this whole Beachbody community. And I think that Margot and I both circle back around to, it's that aspect of community and being able to connect with other moms and other women that are in similar stages of life. And even if we're not in the exact same stage, there's so many commonalities of, struggle that we can, and success and wins, but, that we can really come together. And it's a really, really neat thing. So I'm going to kind of start first tonight and tell you a little bit about really why and how these groups just completed a missing piece of a puzzle for me. I have been in running groups for, I guess, probably since the time that Nick and I got married is about the first time I started doing a running group. And to tell you the truth, I absolutely hated it at first. We would go, we met in a store, a running store. I would hide behind clothing racks while everybody was pairing up, what pace they were running, because I was so uncomfortable running with other people. I thought that I breathed too loud. I thought I was like a stomper. And I just hated it. I hated being active with other people. But over time, I realized that not only did it make the time go by faster, but it pushed my comfort zones continually. I signed up for races that I probably would have never signed up for. I did midweek training runs that, just weeks or months prior, I thought those people are crazy. I can vividly remember, we'd only been married a couple months, and this woman came to a speed workout and she was due the next day. She was 9 months plus pregnant. Huge. I mean, not huge in a bad way, but just all of you moms know how you feel right before you give birth. And she was out on the track in 90-degree weather doing speed work. And I remember looking at him and being like, there is no way in hell that would ever be me. So get that idea out of your head right now. And he was like, well, you never know. I'm like, no, I know. I will never do that. But, flash forward, if you would have told me in that moment that I would have run 5 half marathons pregnant, I would have never believed you. But for me, being plugged into my running club was like my friends and my accountability and my social scene too. Like that's how I got out and connected with others. So when we moved to a new state and I didn't have that community, it was so lonely at first. It's a great way to it's hard to make friends as adults. Like it's so difficult. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm dating again when you're trying to meet other moms. And when you go to, whether it's CrossFit or a class that you like or a run group, there's an instant commonality there that you all have a shared interest. And it makes it so much easier to kind of put yourself out there and start connecting with other people. Well, when we moved to Lexington, I did not have that at all. And I didn't even know how badly I was missing it until all of a sudden I just couldn't take it anymore. And I was like, I don't know what to do. This idea of a virtual fit camp sounds so ridiculous, but I will try anything at this point. So that's kind of how I went down this path of like giving this a try. And I couldn't believe that within a couple days, like I honestly was feeling some of those like aspects of joy and connectivity from like these virtual relationships and connecting with others, like showing up. It seems so silly that posting a sweaty selfie and saying like, hey, I got my workout done, or seeing somebody else do that would motivate you to do anything, like to get out of bed to do it. But you see other people doing it, you're so much more likely to want to be a part of that. We naturally, innately want to be a part of things. So it was such a good fit for me. And that's why I'm so passionate about, I thought that was a kid. It was the dog running on the steps. Really introducing this to other people. I think because I came from a running background and this CrossFit community, I kind of thought, well, everybody has their thing. Everybody has their form of fitness that gets them up and gets them moving. But being without that for a couple months and then finding it again online, I was like, okay, other people need to know that this exists, need to know that they can be a part of something, be a part of a community really pretty easily from their own home. And I've got to be like a middleman in getting that out there to other people. So it was such a blessing to find. And, I never anticipated having that experience with something online.
Yeah, I completely agree. And luckily for me, Megan was like open and willing to share what she had found because, that's how I kind of reconnected with Megan on here. Obviously, having had 4 kids in 4 years, I loved being alone, but never was. And we moved a lot too. And I think making friends as an adult is horrible. It's much easier, I'm finding, now that my kids are in school. But we moved back to Chicago in the middle of winter from Texas, where I was outside with the kids nonstop. And I all of a sudden, had this 4th baby in 4 years. I felt like confined to the house. I felt like I wasn't making any friends, but I looked so horrible every day that I thought, who would want to be my friend anyways? And I just didn't feel good. I just didn't have the energy and I didn't have the motivation. And I also found that a lot of people in my new neighborhood, there were like a lot of moms, but they kind of, I don't want to sound bad here. They kind of wanted to go out and like drink a couple nights a week. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but when you have 4 little kids, and I think I like breastfed people for like 5 years, like that wasn't my thing. And any chance I had at sleep, I was going to take it. So I actually think I even had a harder time like making friends in a new neighborhood because I wasn't down for like book club and drinking like a couple nights a week. And I think people thought that was like so strange. So in walks like reconnecting with Megan, thank God for Facebook, right? and this idea of a group. And I remember I tried a free group first, and I remember being like, this is fine, but I'm not going to post. Like, why would I post? Like, I'm fine. I'm fine. And then I am like kind of a competitive person by nature. And I also was like, well, I don't want Megan to think I just got in here and like didn't care and didn't try. So I thought, fine, like I'll post. And then I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get this done today, but I really want to post. Like, I don't know why, but I really just want to post this, like check off the box and say that I did it. So already within a free group for 1 week, I was like feeling this accountability. And then I kind of like started chatting with people in the group, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like making friends. This is so weird. But like having been married before online dating really became like huge, I never really realized that you could like actually form real friendships like virtually like that. And so then of course I like, signed up for Shakeology and a full program and jumped in a group. And some people that I was in my very first group with 2 years ago, I'm still friends with and coaching with, like to this day. And it's crazy because I've never met these people in real life, but I feel like we're friends and we've been working towards this like common goal, this healthy lifestyle, healthy families together. And it's such a good feeling because you can jump in these groups and you're with people who are working towards a similar goal. And although we're all different from across the country, all different backgrounds, we're all working towards something. And it's a group and a place where everybody really wants everybody to do their best. And
Yes.
is no like need to cut somebody else down to make yourself feel better. And frankly, like I obviously love that I can like reconnect with people over social media, but sometimes it's just complete garbage. And the things people like say about themselves to make themselves feel better, or poorly about another person to make themselves feel better, can feel like really just negative at times. So I kind of looked at taking the opportunity as a coach to put something positive out there. And by coming up with like the positive that you want to put out there, it like keeps your mindset in a more positive place. So I have found that because I'm putting out this positive energy and I'm wanting other people to join our community, like the positivity around me continues and the negativity sort of starts to filter away. And I'm obviously reading like the universe has your back right now. So I've got all this like vibe, like mentality going on. But I truly believe that I was in a place where I felt really alone and I felt unsure, like as a mom with so many kids and in a new place, like how I was going to get some like confidence back and a little bit of like my mojo, my vibe back, because you start to lose yourself in your children and moving, all these things. And so this community like really, really kind of answered that for me. And the challenge group community, as well as like the coaching community. Because again, you're just with like-minded people who want you to succeed and want themselves to succeed. And you can kind of build off of that.
Yes, I agree with all of that so much. And I think Margot brought up like such a good point. I don't think that she or I set out in our first free group when we had our eyebrows raised, because it was a couple months, probably months apart from one another. But I can promise you, I wasn't like, okay, I'm going to become a coach and I'm going to love this and I'm going to sell Shakeology one day and I'm going to talk about it all the time. Like, couldn't have been further from my mind. Like I never, ever, ever, ever thought that I would do that. But like she said, you get into these situations where we see crap all of the time, on the news, on social media. Like we're just kind of inundated with junk. And then I found this really positive place that, like she was saying, you start kind of making friendships and like cheering other people on. And we've seen everything in our groups from plenty of new babies to people losing loved ones. And there's just this element of like really wanting the best for one another. And it's very easy to see in those groups, the people that are participating and that are giving like you get what you give, right? So if you show up every day and you're giving this positivity out and you're really being vulnerable and sharing your truth, not just like, hey, I did my workout and then you check out for the rest of the day, but like sharing your struggles, sharing what you're working towards. You know, we're really proactive about encouraging one another to like voice our goals and voice our frustrations, because when you put it out into the universe, you're so much more likely to come up with a plan to really like move and make progress on that goal, instead of just being like, yeah, I wish I could get in shape, you know? So anyway, these groups become these really dynamic places for growth if you let them. And what I have found is the people that tap into that and really kind of like give it their all, say, okay, this is so outside of my comfort zone, but for the next 30 days or for the course of this program, I'm going to be all in every single day. Without fail, those individuals have the best transformation stories, have the most inner growth, the most change, and they become leaders in the group. You know, like they're the positive lights that are showing every day. They have the posts that everybody are like lifted up by and encouraged by. And it's such a natural transition for those folks to really kind of take that next step and become a coach. That's how I got started. That's how Margot got started. And it, you know, there's some sort of element to it of like serving, being like living a servant life and like being service oriented and sharing solutions with one another. You know, I think that at the core is what we're really trying to do, and being that, you know, solution giver for so many people that need a solution. One thing about this that's been so incredible is that, you know, I signed up as a coach and gosh, about 3.5 months later, I found out I was pregnant with our fourth. It was a totally now wonderful surprise. But at the time I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I'm going to have, you know, four and under. And Margot knows that life very well. And I can promise you, if I wasn't a coach already, my fourth pregnancy probably would have been so different. Like there's this extra layer of accountability when you put yourself out there as a coach. Even if you're not actively working the business, you are basically like what we say, like our VIP customers or our brand ambassadors. You know, you are that committed. And I always feel like you have a little bit of extra skin in the game when you sign up as a coach. You know, it's a lot harder to be like, yeah, I'm just not going to do my workout, or I'm just going to skip my Shakeology this week, or forget it, I'm just going to be off the rails with nutrition from now until the end of, you know, the holiday season. Because likely you've told somebody in your life that you're a coach, right? Your spouse know, your parents know, your siblings, your best friend, somebody knows that you cared enough about this to take that extra step. And I promise you, your commitment skyrockets. You know, you just take the likelihood of making excuses and putting yourself on the back burner, and you kind of completely throw it out the window. You don't have that to fall back on anymore. It's the very best thing in the world. And I always tell our, you know, our most dedicated challengers, you should be a coach. You are totally, totally living this lifestyle, and it's what you're missing. You're missing that last component, that you really give yourself permission to go all in. You give your permission to share your story and to be unapologetically you. Like I feel like our challengers and ourselves included love this world, but it is kind of non-traditional and not the norm. And with that comes a lot of like, I don't know if I should talk about this. I don't know if I should share this, because there's a lot of fear out there about what other people are going to say. And there's just something about when you make that switch from just a participant, just a challenger, to being a coach, whether that's just a discount coach. You guys, you can be a discount coach exactly how you're living your life as a challenger, except for you're going to save money on your Shakeology. You're going to save money on all of your you know, if you do any of the other nutritional options like 3-day refresh, ultimate reset, any of the supplements. and never have to actively work the business. You know, we reserve that option for our lifers, for our best challengers. But I promise you, even if that is how you engage as a coach, it is going to impact your journey and your experience tenfold. You know, I wish I could get everybody to understand that, because you just get an extra level of focus, but also like this team camaraderie that we built. And it's just a really, really cool experience.
Yeah. And for me, like the same way, like you get, you know, maybe when you first start eating healthier or making this a priority, you get a fair amount of side eye and kind of like glances. And I think this time of year especially brings up some of that, or like, oh, she's not eating that or whatever. And it's so easy to want to say, like, I don't care what other people think about me, because I totally give off that vibe. Like, I don't care. But like, you do. You kind of do care. But when you become,
we all do. It's hard.
Yeah, it's so hard not to. And for at some point, like, I care about other people, so you're going to care what they think about you.
Sure.
But you dial into this team of people who believes and is focused on the same things as you are, and suddenly you don't feel as weird. You don't feel as much of an outlet, because you have a place full of people who are like, hell yeah, like you do you. Like, don't let anybody tell you that you have to eat stuffing if that's not your thing. Like, don't do that. And it just really steps it up a bit. And when I first signed up to be a coach, it was only going to be for the discount. It had nothing to do with the rest of it. And here I am now, because again, like you, I want other people who are looking for this and may not even know they're looking for this to find this space, to find this team. Like, I was not even an athlete, so the whole like needing to be part of a team is not really my thing. But it is now, because this is an area where I need support. Like, we all need support in things. And unfortunately, eating healthy and taking care of yourself has somehow become like going against the grain, which is something that I think as a coach, I would like to see move back the other way. Like, we should all take care of ourselves, like inside and outside. And so having this place to go that is supportive of what you're doing, and you're all working on this mission together, is just this added boost that you might need just to even keep living your best life. Even if you're not prepared to like commit other people and help other people get there, that's cool. But like, take care of yourself. And this will truly like help you get to that next level. And, you know, like Megan, you and I have talked about before, we read a lot of this personal development, and you hear over and over and over again, like, you're kind of the average of the top 5 people you spend your time with. And it's funny because you're probably one of my top 5 people, and I haven't seen you in, I don't know how many years, but like
years.
We talk a lot. We're in constant like contact, and like, thank God for that, because truly, like, I'm texting Megan today, like, I'll be there tonight, but like, I look crazy. I think my children have been like bodies inhabited by aliens, because I don't even recognize them this week. They've been so out of control. And Megan's like, oh my God, me too. Like, she gets it, like, we get it, but we're laughing about it because like, these are our kids and we love them. But then we get to come here tonight. We get to put them to bed, or in my case, turn them over to my husband. And we get to come here tonight and we get to focus on something that's like super positive and makes us feel good. And so like, I kind of almost forgot about the fact that like, I had to drag my children, physically drag them out of the children's museum today. Like, almost kind of forgot about that, because I'm having fun and I'm talking to a friend and I'm focused on something that's like about me. So when you look at the people surrounding you, like, if health and fitness is something that's important to you, like, get friends in health and fitness. There was a podcast by Shalene, who's the creator of PIO, that some of you may have done. And she was like, guys, you need fit friends. Like, your friends in health and fitness will help get you to the next level, whatever that is for you. And one thing I wanted to say, just to like be clear, like, just because like you become a coach, it doesn't mean you have to be perfect, because like, I'm not perfect at all. And I'll definitely be eating pumpkin pie on Thursday and be totally cool with it. Like, I'm not perfect, and I don't want anybody to think like, you sign to be a coach and you're suddenly like on the containers all the time, perfect, it becomes easy for you. It doesn't, but it does give you that added like bonus of the accountability. I remember when I like first became a coach, I committed to some people to do the 3-day refresh, which really isn't a big deal. But then my husband ended up having to go out of town, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be here with 4 kids, like by myself. I don't want to do the 3-day refresh. Like, I just don't. But I was like, shoot, like I'm their coach. I told them like I was going to lead them through this. Like, I can't bail. So I did the 3-day refresh, and it was totally no big deal. But like I committed to that as a coach, and that weighed on me in a positive way. So not all accountability like is bad. There's like a lot of positive aspects to it. I've never felt like being a coach is too much responsibility or a drag or wearing me down. I've only felt like it's allowed me to do the things I love, to more comfortably share them, and like to bring other people into our fold. And that's been like such a great part of my life and a positive thing to focus on when everything else is sometimes a little crazy.
Yes, and I love that point about the 5 people you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, because honestly, like it comes up in almost every personal development, self-growth, personal growth book that I've read over the last 3 years. I think I was just thinking today, I think this is my week, or well, we're getting really close to my 3-year anniversary. It might be this week, it might be next week, but like in every book I've read, it talks about that. And if you don't have supportive people in your life, like maybe your spouse is not into health and wellness and thinks this is ridiculous. Maybe your parents are, maybe your friends or your siblings aren't. Like whoever your people are, that doesn't mean you have to like find a new spouse, new parents, new friends. No, but if you want something for yourself, if you want to make changes to your health and wellness, you have to surround yourself with some people that get that and that are going to be in your corner. And these groups provide that. This team provides that. Just like Margot said, you know, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be like reaching this like huge goal that like all of a sudden you need accountability for. It's just the days, you know, ins and outs of day-to-day life that sometimes you need other people to share your common vision and your common goal, so that when you're like, you know what, screw this, I'm not doing this anymore, those people that don't want you to change and that don't have those same values, they're going to be like, yeah, it's silly, don't do that. And you're going to have, it's going to be so much easier to quit. But when you have people that know what you're working on and know what you're working towards and know how important it is to you, guess what? We're going to check in and be like, hey, is everything okay? No one's ever pressuring anybody. It's just simply like, I haven't heard from you in a while. What's going on? Sometimes it just takes somebody like caring enough to ask you a question to like remind you and pull you out of whatever. We all have those moments. We all have those moments where we're like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Whether it's part, you know, I'm sure we're going to have a million more in parenting, you know, whether it's in your health and wellness journey, whether it's in your own like emotional situations you have going on. In every area of your life, you got to have people that you look up to and that are mentors and role models for what you want, or you're never going to elevate. You're never going to get where you want to go. So, you know, and for me, like Margot said, we've moved around a lot. So I don't necessarily have those people in my life that I can see every single day by walking out my front door, but I can see them here and I can check in with them here. And no matter how crazy my life is, they're here. So it's just something that we're going to keep talking about because it's really important, and it's something that everybody should have access to, you know, regardless of where you are. Like that's what we're about, making health and wellness efficient and convenient and accessible no matter where you are in the world, no matter where you are in your life.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's so true. I just read an article the other day about like self-care, and one of the things that really stuck out to me was like self-care is not all about manicures and chocolate, but self-care is actually sometimes like forcing yourself to do the hard things, like to do the extra workout because you know you're going to feel better when you do it. And so you could even look at coaching as just a way to like step up your self-care game. And it may not be like you want, you know, maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't want the extra accountability. Somebody's going to be looking for me. Like if I don't show up, somebody might notice. Yeah, then that's probably what you do need. That's where you can step up your self-care by surrounding yourself with people who care about you. And nobody can hound you like, where are you? But somebody might be like, hey, you good? Everything okay? And like, is there really a better feeling than like having friends that check in on you because they realize like you're kind of missing, and maybe you're just busy, and that's cool. And nobody's going to be like, yeah, I'm a little concerned you haven't worked out this week. Like, it's not that, but somebody just might be like, hey, this is weird. We haven't heard from you. And so stepping up your self-care game may not be like the glamorous way. It may in fact be like, all right, let's step it up. I'm going to join as a coach because I'm going to step up my accountability to take care of myself. And I feel like that's what we like preach. That's what we love. Like, take care of yourself so you can take care of others, that whole thing. But like, if you need to force yourself into a little extra self-care, a little bit of tough love, like this is a way to kind of do it. And I just feel like life is so crazy for everybody. I don't know. I never meet anybody who's not busy. Oh, I hate that word, but you know, it's true. Like, who's not super busy. So let's simplify it. Okay. Like, we all have our phones, we all have computers, we all have Apple TV and all this stuff. Like, so now I'm to this point now where it's like, I get my workouts on my phone if I want to, or the TV. And I can also like check in with my people that way. Like, it's technology, but it's actually simplifying things. So I think like it's all right here at our fingertips. Like, we can do so much, we can achieve so much. We can take care of ourselves without totally like reinventing the wheel. And it's fun to be able to do it with other people.
It is. It is. I hope this was helpful for you guys. It's fun to even talk through. And I'm sure we could like probably go on about this for hours because we're both so passionate about it. But I hope that you got some insight into like if you're in the groups and you haven't thought about coaching, you're just joining us tonight because you're trying to figure out how to up your accountability in your group. Think about what you're doing so far. Are you just kind of like being like a voyeur? You're coming in and reading everything every day and you're seeing recipes and you're seeing motivational posts, but you're not really like showing up. Then you want to change that, you know, and there's not really a better way to change it than to be like, hey, I'm going to go all in on this. I'm going to go all in on myself for the next couple months and I'm going to see what this is all about. You guys, we have a really, really amazing prep group coming up for 80-Day Obsession, and then a VIP group for 80-Day Obsession. And it's going to be the utmost accountability, and we'll share more on that in the coming weeks. But start thinking about what you are giving in these groups. Start thinking about what you can change. You know, if you want to make massive change in your life, you've got to take the action to do it. You can't just think about it. Add yourself to a group and then just sit there. You're not doing anything different, but you have added, you know, that's not enough. You've got to show up for yourself and let us help you lean into your groups, lean into your coach. That is what we are here for. Okay. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanks for hanging out with Margot and I. We will be back next week, I'm sure, to share something equally thought-provoking. Okay. And we will talk to you guys soon. See ya.
Bye.